Hi everybody, it's Miss Jessica from the Tech at Lowell Bridge Library and welcome to another Tech STEM Minute. Today we're going to be making and testing our very own thermometer. For this experiment, what you'll need is some rubbing alcohol, some air dry clay, a small narrow-necked travel-sized bottle. I just have this little spray bottle here. If you have a shampoo or a conditioner travel-sized bottle, those will work as well. A medicine dropper or a syringe that you can pick up liquid with, a straw, a marker, and a ruler, and some food coloring. I just have some red. You can use whatever color you like. And also, I'm going to grab this later, but you will need some water and a small bowl or jar or glass or something like that that can hold that water. And you'll see what we'll use that for later on in the video. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is take our straw, marker, and ruler, and we're going to make a mark about every ½ centimeter on our straw with our marker. These are going to be our lines that we will be able to read the temperature using, and every mark is going to be about 1 degree. So I'm going to finish this. Now we're going to grab our travel size bottle, and I'm going to put a towel down because I might make a mess doing this. And I'm going to use a funnel to help me as well, and we're going to fill this travel size bottle about halfway full with our alcohol. Oh, I definitely did a little bit too much. So I'm just going to take and pour a little bit back in my bottle. All right, that looks good right there. Next, add a few drops of your food coloring that you chose. And we're going to take the lid of our travel size bottle and put that back on, and we're going to shake, 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 shake so that that gets all nice and mixed up. All right, looks good. We got that nice red that we can see in there. Take our lid and set that off to the side. Now take your medicine dropper, put it down inside your travel size bottle, and soak up some of your liquid. Not too much. If it gets below a quarter full of your bottle, you probably want to put some of your liquid back in there, but as long as it's over a quarter full, you're just fine. And then we have a towel down, so we'll be good. We're going to set this to the side. It might drip out a little bit, but that's okay. Next, we're going to get our air dry clay here. Open it up. And we're going to get a pretty decent chunk of it. Something like that should be enough, and we're going to make a nice ball. Roll it up with our hands just like this. And now we're going to flatten that ball out. Try to get it really good and flat. Okay. There we go. Now that this is all nice and flat, we're going to grab that straw again and we're going to poke it right through the center of our air dry clay, just like that. And you see how I have some clay poking through the end of my straw now and blocking it. Just try to work that out of there so that you don't have anything blocking your straw. May take just a little bit of work, and you don't have to get every little bit of clay out, but as much as you can so you don't have any blockages. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I adjusted my camera so you can see this just a little bit better, but you do want the bottom of your straw to be immersed down in the liquid in the bottom of your bottle. But you also want to have as much of the straw poking out of the top of the bottle as possible. Now we're going to take this clay and we're going to create an airtight seal around the bottle. So you can just take your hands and kind of smush that clay around the neck of the bottle and the straw so that you get a nice, good, airtight seal. Just make sure that the opening of your straw up top stays clear. This next part might be a little tricky. We're going to grab that medicine dropper that had our extra liquid in it, and we're going to very carefully drop our liquid down inside the straw. And if you have an airtight seal, your liquid should begin to create a column, just like that. You see how it's coming up and not go down inside the bottle. So we're going to want to keep adding liquid until we are about halfway up the straw of the part that's sticking up from the top. So that looks pretty good right there. If you don't have that airtight seal, the liquid is going to fall down into the bottom of the bottle and it's not going to create this column. So if you notice your liquid doing that, just try to recreate the seal with the clay and see if you can get it to work. It may take a few tries. So this point that we marked right here is going to represent room temperature for us, which is typically about 70 degrees. And remember, the marks we created on the straw are going to represent about a degree each. But we're not going to use this thermometer to measure exact temperatures today. We just want to see if it will react to different temperature changes. So in order to do that, I'm going to go grab that water and small jar that I mentioned earlier with some cold water in it, and we're going to see how our thermometer reacts. I'll be right back. I have my cold water here, and I'm very carefully going to pick up my thermometer because I don't want to break that airtight seal, and I'm going to dip the bottom into my cold water. Do you see what's happening? That liquid in the straw went down. Oh, it went down so low, we can't even see it anymore. It definitely is working, isn't it? Now let's try it with some hot water. I'll be right back again. Our thermometer has almost come back up to room temperature here from being dunked in the cold water. It's okay if it doesn't come all the way back up to room temperature before you test it in the hot water. You can still test it. So I have my hot water here. It's not super hot, it's just kind of warm. I microwaved it for just a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing. Very carefully pick up our thermometer, dip our thermometer in it, and see what happens. That liquid is rising. You might want to take it out because if I let it sit in there much longer, it might come out of the top of the straw. Our thermometer definitely worked. Did it do what you expected it to? So why did the temperature change the level of liquid in the straw? Well, this is thanks to something called thermal expansion and contraction. All matter, but especially gases, like the air that we had trapped in the bottle with our airtight seal, tend to expand or take up more space when they're warm and contract or take up less space when they're cold. When we placed the bottom of the bottle that we created our thermometer with in the hot water, that air inside the bottle that was trapped expanded to take up more room, and it pushed some of that liquid that was down at the bottom of the bottle up through the straw because that was the only place it could escape. And then the opposite happened when we placed the bottom of the bottle we created our thermometer with down in the ice cold water, because then that air contracted to take up less room and water from the straw was able to travel back down from the straw into the reservoir at the bottom of the bottle. And this is how traditional liquid thermometers work as well. Most of the thermometers we see these days are digital thermometers, but if you've ever seen a thermometer that's in a glass or a plastic tube with a bulb at the bottom that has red liquid in it, that's a traditional liquid thermometer, and that liquid at the bottom is the reservoir that when the air around the thermometer gets warm, that liquid is pushed up higher into the glass or plastic tube, and then when it gets colder, that liquid can drop back down into that reservoir. I hope you enjoyed making your own thermometer and learning about thermal expansion and contraction today. If you would like to learn more, as always, I've put the link to the Science Buddies page for this experiment in the description below, so go ahead and check that out. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!